Zwanda Rasiweda. I'm a village girl. I come from Lukulu Chirata. I have a mining engineering degree from Wits University, and I'm currently doing my master's, which I'm not finishing because this is killing me. I cannot write English, you know. So, and I've traveled to more than 15 countries. I have seen, I've seen, guys, I've seen. And I can say 20 now. Actually, I put 15 to be conservative. I've been to a lot of countries. I've been privileged, and I thank God for that. And I have a YouTube channel where I speak about personal finance. And most of the time, I normally get a question: how would an engineer find themselves talking about money, and to an extent where you create a YouTube channel? You know, so that question. So I have an answer for you, and that will link to the things that I want to talk about maybe in the next coming few slides, right? So I have a money story, and I think each and every one of you have a money story. Vivian shared hers, and I know Ere touched a little bit about that, but also Jeanette highlighted the components. I think with each and every one of us, there is that money story. And to be honest, for you to progress, you need to understand it. And that's the mindset that Vivian was talking about. You really need to understand what your money story is, because while I am working on maybe focusing on budgeting, maybe when you just need an accountability partner, and hence it's important to understand your money story. So I'm just gonna quickly share my own, right? So when I was growing up, I used to be given a weekly pocket money, and my younger sister. So I used to be given a weekly pocket money from grade 7, right? From grade 1, actually, from grade 1. So at the corner in which I stay, maybe 2 houses away from our house, there's a place where they sell backfish, and I'm a fed cook, right? So it was 5 rand. So now I used to carry the whole 5 rand to school. It was meant for 5 days, ne? And I would pass by that house, 1 rand for a backfish, 1 rand for iliguinya. And I'm bowling. We eat it along the way. When I get to school, guess what? The things that I was supposed to eat for lunch is finished. So then I'm spending again, I'm buying a sherbet lima zimba. You know, and now I'm left with 1 rand for the following day, right? And then when you go home and you tell my dad that the money is finished, shame, you're not gonna get it, it doesn't replenish. So from a very, very young age, I learned to the repercussions of spending money for the future now. I knew if you eat money for the future, you're gonna have to make your own scarftin, and at home, nobody was gonna make you a scarftin. And that's the reason why you had a pocket money. So myself at grade 1, I was making my own scarftin because I knew the reason why I had to make my own scarftin, which I didn't like. Also, I was still my younger sister's money, you know? Because somehow she used to have some 2 rand under the bed, under the pillow. So, you know, so I learned so much about engaging or my relationship with money at a very young age. To an extent where when I got to grade 7, there was this anime school bags. I don't know if you remember that. Like it was a Mr. Price school bag, but with the something money at the back. Like a anime, like Mickey Mouse or whatever. Yeah. But those things were so cool. They were so cool, I loved them. But at home, you used to get money through business case. You need to justify why you needed to spend money for certain things. So when I got home, I'm like, I want a school bag. My dad was like, oh yeah, you do need a school bag. Let me buy you a school bag. Which one do you need? I chose the one that I want. Those things were too small for my books. I used to carry whole loads of books because you would be beaten if you don't bring all of them. So it would break maybe two months down the line, it would break. So when I get home, I'm like, I want another school bag. It's another business case. That one broke. My dad went on and bought me a Bokati school bag. I am sure that even today, if I go and look for it, I'll find it. And the thinking around that is you didn't have a school bag problem, and you just wanted to catch on with the vibes that are happening because you are buying the wrong product for the service or for the functionality which you needed or the help that you needed, right? So I actually started learning that for me to ask for something from my dad, I need to have a plan. So before I even went to him, I would think what would convince him. That actually taught me to think that money doesn't just come. It comes when you have a reason for it to come, right? And that's how my journey with money started. And in high school, I had a monthly pocket money. When I got to varsity, I was given an annual pocket money. A lot of my peers in university were shocked about that, and I was not. I was shocked that they were shocked. Because for me, that's just the way it was supposed to be. Because then, why are you giving me money now if you're gonna give me again next month? Just give me the money, you know. So I got annual pocket money, and that's how I started like engaging with different products of investment and savings, right? So what then happened is that when I got to my second year and I got a bursary, my parents didn't take back the school fees that they had paid and the pocket money that they given me, right? But knowing my dad, my younger sister will tell you, he's a man of, you know, he will come back. I was like, no, I'm going to prove him this guy. I know what he's going to say. He's going to come back after again and say, what did you do with the money? And I'm going to tell him, nah, I invested it. So I went to the Blue Bank, they in Braamfontein. I told them, I'm like, give me a product that gives the best interest rates. You know, they were like, yeah, we have one for you. And then I signed, I put the money there. A year after, I went back. These are things that Zama was talking about. I went back and I wanted to see the manager. I was not convinced that the interest rate they gave me is enough. No. Somewhere. How can it be so small, right? And then that's when I started exploring the different products that are out there that can give me better interest rates. And then that's when I started engaging with, unit trusts and then shares, etc. All right. Again, going into graduating, when I graduated, I knew that I wanted to do something different. As a mining engineer, when you graduate, or as an engineer as a whole, when you graduate, especially in mining, you're expected to drive a BMW. And they won't care which one. It must just be a BMW, right? So I knew that I wanted to do something different for myself, right? And for the first 3 years of my working life, I didn't have a car. So guys, this story. There was a long walk to Freedom from the office. I get to 20 graduates from the head office to where I used to catch the highway. When it rains, everyone pass by and stop and give me a pity, comments. Tomorrow will say, hey, black taxi are shy, I'll be so angry that the following day maybe I'm like, but I must pay. I can get it. But I stayed grounded, to be honest, because every now and then, and what would happen is that I would actually maybe on my way, train going back to Pretoria, I would call Hyundai, Mati, please quote me for I-20. But you qualify for 15%, that you are lying. I'm not buying. That is not me. Now I cannot buy a car that is coming at 15% interest rate when the prime is, I think back then it was even 10, like back before the COVID drop. It was 10. I was like, no, I'm not buying. Then I'm convinced to go back to work with my confidence, forgetting that it rained on me the previous day, right? But what that allowed me is that it actually allowed me to save at least 60% of my income for that first 3 years. And when I finally decided to buy a car, I could say that I could buy it cash if I wanted to, which I didn't do. But what I ended up doing is that I then invested into student accommodation, which I built a 15-bedroom student accommodation through that savings, right? And I think for some of you who have children, and maybe you aspire to accelerate them, I think that even if you don't have the money to pass it on, you can let them start having a relationship with money. It doesn't do your child justice that everything they ask for you, you give them. Yeah. Because you start teaching them that money is easily accessible. When they find something difficult, then they rely on credit, because credit is also money, right? Because it says purchasing power. But for how long can they do so? So you need to start engaging with your children about money. Now, I used to be asked when I was in high school, I don't know how this came about because it's so weird. Who do you love between your mom and dad? I'm like, definitely my mom. Hey, my dad is stingy. Reason for everything, And when I started seeing kids in university getting excluded and being fetched by Range Rovers, kids who are financially excluded, by the way, being fetched by their parents' car Range Rover, that's when it clicked, man. Priorities are just skewed. Exactly, because 10 years a month or so that a kid, like Jeanette said, pay it forward, right? So that's what, for me personally, I am most passionate about. Starting them young and at least paying it forward where you can. Okay. Now let's go to the real conversation of the day, things that you're mostly